Welcome back to the channel. If you are taking algebra or statistics, the stat button is going to be very useful in your classes. In this video, we are going to master the basics of handling data. By the end of this lesson, you will know how to enter data into your lists, how to calculate averages and medians, and how to graph regressions and scatter plots in y=. To get started, look near the arrow keys and press the stat button. Press enter on the very first option, which is edit, and this will open up your data spreadsheet. Let's enter a quick sample problem together. Under the first column labeled L1, type the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, hitting enter after each one. Then press the right arrow key to move over to L2 and type 2, 5, 9, and 15, again hitting enter after each one. Now pay close attention. If you want to erase an entire list, use your up arrow to highlight the list number, press clear, and then press the down arrow. What you don't want to do is press the delete button on a list because this will completely erase it off your screen. However, if you do this on accident, just press the stat button, scroll down to the fifth option, which is setup editor, click enter and enter again, and then when you go back into your data, the list will reappear. Now to analyze these numbers, press the stat button again, but this time use your right arrow key to move over to the calc menu. Select the first option, which is one variable statistics. Make sure your list is set to list 1, leave your frequency list blank, and scroll down and hit calculate. This will give you all the stats on that list of data. Some common ones you will use are the mean, the sum of the terms, the standard deviation, the number of terms, the minimum, the first quartile, the median, the third quartile, and the maximum value in that list. Next, let's look at how to create a scatter plot with the points we entered. To do this, click second and then y= to get to the stat plot. Hit enter on plot 1 and make sure the word on is highlighted. The default settings below are usually good. It's already set to create a scatter plot using the data from your first and second lists. Now if you press the graph button, you will be able to see your points. However, your screen might look partially filled or even completely empty because the window isn't sized right. To fix this, press the zoom button and scroll down to the 9th option, which is zoom stat. This automatically takes your data and perfectly frames the window around your points. The next thing to cover today is regressions. A regression is just a line of best fit and sometimes a curve of best fit. With the data we have, we're going to form a linear regression. Press the stat button and scroll over to the calc menu using your right arrow key and scroll down to option number 4, linear regression ax plus b, and hit enter. This will automatically use your list 1 as your x list and list 2 as your y list, but you can change these depending on where you entered your data. Scroll down to the line that says store regeq, which stands for regression equation. Press the vars button next to the arrow keys, scroll over to y variables, hit function, and then say, for example, we're going to store this into y1. Now scroll down and hit calculate. The calculator will give you an equation in the form of y = ax plus b, where a is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Now if you go into your y equals, the linear regression equation is stored into y1, and it also appears in your graph alongside your scatter plot. This is useful for making predictions with problems involving data. Now that we are done, let's go back into our stat editor and clear out our lists, again using the clear button and not the delete button. Now that our data is cleared, we have to turn off our stat plot or else the calculator will give an error the next time you try to graph a normal equation. This is because the calculator is trying to graph data that isn't there anymore. To fix this, just press quit and go into your y equals. Then at the top, look at where your plots are. If plot 1 has a box around it, it means it's actively trying to graph a scatter plot. So to turn it off, just press your up arrow and press enter to unhighlight it, and now your plot is turned off. Now that your stat plots are turned off, you are able to graph normal equations in y equals. So that's all for today on the stat button on your TI84. In the next video, we are going to cover the matrix section, where I will show you how to solve algebra equations. See you then.